Welcome back to More or Less, your favorite sports show. We're back. I'm joined again by my good friends Gev and Marvin. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Good to be here, back, bro.
So this episode is going to be very exciting. It's going to be a little different. Today we're going to talk about the NBA playoff breakdown, our predictions, as well as the NHL. Big day for Damian Lillard. Gevo, talk to me.
Oh, man. Close one, huh?
Very
close one. A little too close, to be honest.
1 point. We're talking 1 point.
1 point. It shouldn't have came to that.
I agree.
Who would have thought the Nets, bro? The Nets.
134
They needed
to
every
133.
one of those 42 points and 12 assists. Let me tell you, man.
CJ McCollum, 25 as well. He was 0 for 6 from 3.
He was 0 for 6 from 3.
25. 25 is fantastic, as well as 7 assists to go along with
Needed
it.
Carmelo to step up, though.
Yes.
He didn't.
9 points, that's not going to come.
He didn't even get double figures in a game like that, man. It was like a 3-point contest.
It was this type of touchy-feel basketball where it's, let me race down the court and jack up a 3. Portland as well as Dallas, they play like this, and to be honest, I don't like it. Call me an old school fan. I'm an old man in a young man's body. What are you going to do?
I'm not the biggest fan of this type of game, too, right? I mean, you're going to have games in the 140s in regulation. I mean, come on. Like,
it's absurd. It's absurd.
Look, the type of shots that Lillard was, like the 35-footer, granted, look, he was making them, but you can't play like that. Dude, play some defense.
I'm also going to tell you this, though. This reminds me a lot of the game against Dallas, though, when he hit that ridiculous shot, hit the back of the rim, popped up, went 20 feet in the air, and dropped right down.
I looked at that, I'm like, oh, that's off. And then like everyone was just like, oh, that actually went in.
That shooter's bounce, bro. That shooter's bounce.
I'm going to be honest, I don't watch every game live because I work for a living, but to be completely honest, I watched that game live. When it happened, it blew my mind. Another point, Nurkic having 22 and 10.
A huge difference.
Is this something we can expect from him now that he's healthy?
He's going to have to.
They're going to need him.
He's going to have to. What else are they going to do? I mean, they got perimeter shooters. They got Damian Lillard.
Okay.
But Nurkic is, and then like their bench is pretty much Gary Trent Jr. That's it.
Checked up some shots, made some shots, some big shots, kept them
Damian
close.
Lillard has single-handedly got them to the 8th seed right now. They need to win one game against Memphis for the play-in.
Yep.
If they beat them just one game, it's the opposite with Memphis. They need to win 2 games for the play-in.
So this is the first time in NBA history that we're actually playing a play-in. So the 9th seed will play the 8th seed for playoffs, right, guys?
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
It's the first time in NBA history, due to the bubble, due to the corona, the 9th seed will play the 8th seed on both the East and the West.
I also want to touch up, now that we're talking about the game, though. The Nets, LeVert had 37, Harris had 19, and 6 players on just New Jersey. They were in double digits. I'm sorry, I mean Brooklyn, formerly known as New Jersey. My apologies. Formerly known as New Jersey.
Guys like Tyler Johnson stepped up, hit big shots. Loyal Cabaret had a great game. Let me ask you something real quick. Touch up on the Nets real quick. They got a little thing going. I don't see them beating Toronto, obviously. However, with the return of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving potentially next year, what is that gonna mess up the little
absolutely
chemistry they got going on right
You
now?
got 2 players that are, when they're healthy, both. I mean, KD is arguably the best player in the league. Kyrie Irving is a top 10 player in the league when he's healthy. No question about that.
Especially if he could stay there.
But KD is potentially the best player in the league.
Will KD even be the same player? I'm hoping.
Do you think? Think that we can still expect big things from LeVert when KD and Kyrie?
I mean,
he has to be the third wheel for this team to be successful. But a lot of touches are going to go out. He's not going to get the ball as much, meaning he's not going to be able to be that X factor.
Oh, they also have a JJ Redick type of player with Harris, right?
Yeah.
Great 3-point shooter.
Great 3-point shooter.
So
absolutely,
that team with the young players that they got right now, to have experience, they're about to gain some playoff experience right now.
Absolutely.
Hey, I mean, don't count out the Nets to be a legitimate threat in the East next year. Not this year, obviously.
I could see it. Gentlemen, let's move on to our predictions in the Western Conference. And I'm going to start with you, Geff. Lakers and Portland, talk to me.
Lakers and Portland, if that happens, I think it's a problem for the Lakers. Here's the thing. With the way Damian Lillard is playing right now, it's kind of difficult, to stop what he's doing. So you need to stop the surrounding cast. You need to stop a Carmelo. You need to stop Nurkic. The big man needs to stop Nurkic. Do I think the Lakers are going to win? Yes, obviously.
How many?
I want to say in 5, but it may go 6.
Okay, hypothetical.
But it's going to really test the Lakers.
I'm going to throw you a hypothetical since it's not a hypothetical right now. What if Memphis gets that spot?
Lakers sweep.
Sweep, that's fair.
Lakers
John Morant, too young.
They're way too young.
Not enough of a supporting cast.
Valanciunas is great center, but he's not.
In Toronto.
They're no legitimate threat to the Lakers.
Do you think that he's the rookie of the year? For sure?
Yes. Zion didn't play enough. I like Zion. If we're doing a personality, I prefer Zion Williamson. He's got that Magic Johnson smile that lights up a room. He's a handsome guy, fantastic physique. Zion Williamson would be, if it was a popularity contest, without a doubt, everyone's voting for Zion. John Morant's young. He's got that Westbrook in him. He wants to dunk on you. He wants to embarrass you. He wants to posterize you. And at the end of the day, though, he deserves it over Zion Williamson.
So no questions about that. There's something that, like you said it perfectly, Zion Williamson has that perfect Magic Johnson smile.
Absolutely.
Making those dunks. But I think they're both young and they both like to dunk. I love their personalities. I wouldn't compare. I think that he's much more talented than Russell Westbrook in a sense that I think that.
Well, he's got a jump shot.
He has a jump shot.
He's got a jump shot.
I feel like he jives with his teammates. Iguodala didn't want to play.
Yeah.
I felt like he gave a little new energy to that team. So I feel like Zion, if he would have been a little more healthy, I would have loved to see the energy that he brought, which all of us were kind of rooting for the underdog, the Pelicans, you know?
Of course.
If they would have had him longer, I feel they would have gone a little farther. But I feel like I have to give it to Morant, somebody who's hungry, doesn't have a supporting cast around him, isn't in a big team market. Hey, the youngster did some work, you know?
I mean, he may potentially get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
potentially, right? They need to win 2. They need to win 2 games against Portland, as Portland just needs to win 1.
The way Portland is playing, the way Lillard's making these 35-footers.
Damian Lillard.
How are you going to defend that? He took literally 2 steps after the half court, drained the shot.
Let's not forget. He had a 50-point game, and then he had a 61.
And then 42 right now.
I'm gonna say this. This seems like it was specifically targeted towards one commentator in particular. A commentator that for the longest time has said a lot of things, made a lot of money by saying a lot of controversial things without necessarily thinking them through. Maybe he did think them through. He's on a big network. We're not going to throw out any names. Gentlemen, moving on. Clippers and Mavericks. Gebo, prediction first.
Prediction? Clippers in 5.
Okay. Marvin, what do you think?
I think say Clippers in 5. Dallas is good. Don't count them out. Porzingis is playing like a beast. I feel like he finally found his identity in the bubble. Luka Doncic, bro. This guy is where did this kid come from?
He's a special player.
Special player.
It's a once in a lifetime generation.
Special player throwing up big numbers. Was he one of the youngest players throwing up 30 points?
By the age of 21, he was the youngest player with the triple-double.
Triple-double. 30 points, 20-something rebounds, and a couple of assists.
It was 30 points, 20 rebounds, and a triple-double, 21 years old.
21 years old, 150 days old when he did that. Now, he's in elite company to be the youngest player in the NBA to have accomplished this. Luka Doncic and Porzingis, they could put in some work. They might take 1 or maybe 2 against the Clippers, while just the Clippers have too much going, especially Lou Williams is back.
And if they get Harrell back,
forget about it.
The Lakers are in trouble. But I will say this: Clippers in 6 because I do believe Porzingis, Doncic, Hardaway Jr. Those 3 are enough to get you 2 wins, even against arguably the best team in the West. Not from a standings perspective, but from a talent perspective. I'm a hardcore Laker fan, but I'm gonna admit the Los Angeles Clippers are stacked like no other right now. Okay.
Would you say like a double-double with animal-style fries?
I would say a triple-double with animal-style fries.
They're stacked all around.
They're stacked around.
Super stacked. Their bench...
Oh, I didn't even get to it. Mavs have a 7'3" beast from Serbia. Boban is... If Boban could play 30 minutes a game, I don't think the Mavs would lose.
To have Porzingis and Boban...
That's terrifying.
That would be kind of remind you a little bit of like Gasol and Bynum when they were...
It reminds me...
Oh, the Twin Towers.
Yes.
It reminds me more of Robinson and Duncan.
Ooh.
If Duncan and Robinson could shoot the 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, Boban's not shooting 3s. Let's hope, Boban, if you're listening, Hey, I'm a huge fan, man. The style of basketball you play, that grit and grind, I'm gonna dunk on you. If you can stay healthy, my man, you're gonna go down as a great international player yourself. That team's got two, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I could be wrong, two Hall of Famers though. In Porzingis and in Doncic.
You think Porzingis is going to be a Hall of Famer?
I do.
If he continues to play the way he plays,
if he stays healthy, yes.
I disagree. I think Doncic is going to be...
Doncic is a no-brainer. First ballot Hall of Fame. First ballot.
Speaking of Doncic, does he have when it's all said and done, is he going to go down as the greatest international basketball player of all time?
I want to say yes. But Hakeem Olajuwon is also an international player.
A beast.
Yes. So you would probably go where it stands right now. Hakeem, Dirk,
Olajuwon.
maybe Steve Nash,
Pau Gasol,
Tony Parker.
We've been blessed with great international players, but now is the era of Eastern European basketball players. These guys are hungry. They're big. They're strong. They don't like to cry. You see it a lot in the NBA talent nowadays. They like to cry.
Well, I mean, Doncic doesn't have that.
With the exception of Manu Ginobili.
Doncic doesn't have that jump, that speed.
But he's from South America.
He brings that X factor, bro. In a league where it's all about 3-point shooting, all about posterizing highlights. The guy can pass. The guy can shoot. The guy can make your team look good. I mean, there's nothing but great things this guy's going to accomplish.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you for that. I'm going to start with you on this one. Denver and Jazz, the 3rd seed versus the 6th seed.
This is going to be... I feel this is an underrated series.
I'm honestly most excited about this one.
Denver at Utah is going to be a great series. Denver is super dangerous. Bobo, this young man out of nowhere, putting up points, giving a lot of like hype, bro. I feel like he can make shots. He was spotting up from mid-range, made like 1-3. Definitely can rebound. Like, this guy just plays hard. Denver feels like the dark horse in this playoff series.
I disagree. I'm gonna shock you guys. I'm saying Utah in 7.
Wow.
I'm saying Utah in 7.
Wow. Are they too young? Tell me why. Why Denver? Why not Denver?
Okay, because I feel like if Mike Conley produces, I would have said Utah in 6 had Bogdanovic actually stayed on healthy, but I feel like Mitchell and Gobert and Ingles,
Spider-Man,
and those guys.
Donovan Mitchell's terrifying.
I'm saying Jazz in 7. Right, I'm not saying like they're gonna like blow them out. Granted, yeah, they are the 6th seed, but I feel like if they get that little mesh going, and you never know with Mitchell, that guy's really talented.
They're a sleeper 6, but I'm gonna say Denver in 6 because Jokic, you got to worry about Harris, you got to worry about Barton, you got to worry about a lot of talent on that team. Not to mention the fact that they're very well coached, but Utah's also.
Yeah,
you got Snyder.
I feel like this one is the makings of I think I have Denver in 6, so we're gonna keep track of our wins and losses as predictions.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna stay tuned for that. I say Denver in 6 only because I feel them the last few games that they've been playing, they found an identity. They have a young squad. They're hungry. But you can't count the Jazz out. They have a little bit of experience on their side.
They do.
You have Spider-Man. You have.
Spider-Man's been in the playoffs every time since he's been in the league.
Hey,
he has experience.
Exactly.
Gobert. Hey, Gobert's going to be a nightmare matchup for Jokic.
You might have started the coronavirus pandemic, but I know what your intentions were. You touched all the mics. You got crazy with your long arms. You're a great talent, and even though you're French, it's the most resilient Frenchman I've ever seen.
That's true.
All right,
kind of a true center.
Absolutely.
We don't have too many.
Absolutely. He's 7'2", massive wingspan. He can finish on the inside with authority. He's a great defender, and he's definitely good in the pick and roll. Does his job very well. He's going
to get the rebounds. I was going to say the same thing. Great defender. Makes everybody look good.
Okay, so Rockets and OKC, the 4th versus the 5th seed. Me and you are definitely going to disagree. But before we disagree... Marvin, talk to me, man. Are you sold on Houston? Are you actually, look at me, are you actually sold on them?
I'm not sold on, I feel like I'm not sold on either team.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook is questionable.
Is that because of the quadricep, or is that because in the playoffs he hasn't won a series without Kevin Durant?
I think a little bit of both. The only reason I say more, I'm leaning more towards the injury. He's going to get an MRI to confirm how bad his injury is. He's going to get reevaluated. Ladies and gentlemen, he might not return. Now, if he doesn't return, that changes it a lot. I had Houston in 6 with counting Westbrook in. If he doesn't come back, OKC, these youngsters, Alexander, making his mark in the NBA.
Absolutely.
Some games he had over 20 points, some games under 20. Definitely always hanging out between 19 and 20 points. Now this day and age to put up 20 points in this league, I think you're definitely a great player. But I think he is young. OKC is very young. They have a lot of hungry, talented players. I feel Houston is going to have a little bit of that advantage on the experience side. But without Westbrook, not much is going to happen. Then you brought up the other point. PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker, being 6'5", being the tallest player on the team, I really like PJ Tucker. He's a glue guy.
He's a great guy.
He's an actual 3-and-D, and he legitimately cares about team success. And you don't get that with all the cats on Houston. No. You got Austin Rivers, who, you know what? That 41-point game, that was fantastic. We're all really happy for you.
That was against Sacramento, though, and a pointless game.
I understand. Let's give the gentleman his props where it's deserved. And speaking of giving props, segmenting Devin Booker, we're very sorry. You went 8-0 in that bubble. Fantastic job. We're all rooting for you next year. If my friend Rick is watching, he boosted.
He boosted, bro.
He boosted.
A moment of silence for Booker, bro. You guys were undefeated in the bubble,
Booker, man.
Undefeated in the bubble. You guys played some of the best basketball game, bro.
Especially when they're up by 4 with 3 minutes left.
It's heartbreaking.
It is, man.
All right, the moment of silence starts now. All right, moving on to the East. That was enough for Devin Booker. Hey, you're a young man. You're going to do a lot of great things in this league, but you don't deserve that long of a moment of silence. Moving on to the East, we got Orlando and Bucks. I call a sweep. Gabo, talk to me.
Sweep.
Okay, Marvin.
I think Orlando has surprised a lot of games. They've won a lot of games against really good teams. So I think they might sneak one. I say Milwaukee in 5.
All right.
Do you think Milwaukee has enough of a supporting cast to win them all the way? In the
first round, yes, because Bledsoe's going to put up decent numbers against a team where the best player is Vucevic.
Yeah.
Vucevic, nothing against the guy. Eastern European player, fundamentally sound, rebounds, makes good outlet passes, scores on the inside, got a decent jump shot. Nothing against the guy. But against Giannis, against Chris Middleton, who's actually about to join the 40-50-90 club, against Bledsoe, against the Lopez brothers, you can forget about it.
Yeah.
The Lopez brothers, they sound a lot like the Diaz brothers. For those that understand that.
Okay, who's going to be the closer for Milwaukee, though, when they play tougher teams? They need to figure that out by the Orlando series.
If the Bucks don't use Giannis as their closer, forget about his second reign as an MVP. I personally think it should go to LeBron, just based off the fact that he's first in the West. Nothing against the East. The East, in my humble opinion, is back. The East is back. This is the first time.
I see Milwaukee as their own worst enemy. Right?
Is that a shooting rule, or is that a...
like last year, Bledsoe couldn't even hold his job.
That was against Toronto.
George Hill had to take his job, basically, as a starting point guard.
And you know what? George Hill, the guy got a bad rep in the 2018 finals, but George Hill, I've rooted for you since you were in Indiana, when you got traded for arguably the second best player in the league in Kawhi Leonard.
And then Middleton disappeared last.
Middleton needs to keep it up, bro.
He did.
They need to be consistent.
He needs to get angry. And I'm not talking about angry from a standpoint like Russell Westbrook, where he's gonna take contested shots 3 feet behind the 3-point line. Chris Middleton needs to play smart. He needs to play within the system, but he needs to be confident. Yes. He needs to trust in his abilities.
He has the skill. He has the skill. I just feel like in the deeper rounds, they're gonna need everybody on that team, not just Giannis, not just the Lopez brothers, not just George Hill. They need everybody on that team to win a championship, not just one
championship,
or two people.
Yes, against Orlando. I know you gave them one game.
You gave Orlando one. I mean, they're scrappy.
I'm gonna chop us up to a sweep. We can disagree on this one.
It's a sweep.
Moving on. Let's move on to a more interesting Brooklyn versus Toronto. I mean,
look, after watching today's Nets game, you kind of feel like, hey man, are they gonna actually do something?
Brooklyn's three talent, I'm gonna call LeVert, Harris, and Allen.
Yes.
I like those three. They mesh well together.
They play as a team. It was refreshing to see them play.
They play like friends. They play like brothers. They have that camaraderie. I root for them. I don't like the idea of Kyrie coming back to that team. I don't. Simply because I think Kyrie Irving is a cancer in the locker room. Kevin Durant.
He's going to change the whole dynamic.
That answers my question.
Kevin Durant is way too emotional, in my opinion, to be controversial. So he could be the leader of that team, but Kyrie can't be on that team. So I'm chopping this up to Toronto sweeping. You guys might disagree though.
No, sweep. Toronto.
Honestly, unless a major injury happens, which God forbid doesn't. But I don't see Brooklyn even getting a game.
I mean,
they're too good.
I feel like
they're too good defensively as well.
Marvin, Toronto is a bunch of grown men, and Brooklyn is a bunch of youngsters. Yeah. Let's not forget them making the second seed. I don't care that people for the longest time said the East is weak. The East is back. They made the second seed.
At least for the top 6 teams in the East.
So. Okay, we're not talking about the bottom
7 and 8.
We're not talking about
necessarily. So.
All right, so...
It is like you said, a bunch of veterans playing against the youngsters.
Veterans versus youngsters.
It's going to be settled.
It's going to be
said and done.
I think they're going to be close games. But I think in the end, Toronto's experience, Toronto's grit and grind, and the fact that Toronto's got a fantastic head coach,
of course,
Nick Nurse. 76ers, Celtics, 6th seed versus the 3rd seed.
Tatum's going to eat him up.
76ers are missing Simmons and Embiid. I think
it's a wrap.
I think Embiid's part. I think Embiid is missing. I brought this point up before. Embiid is missing his good vibes. He doesn't like doing 30-20 consecutively. Embiid likes his tacos. He likes his drinks. Embiid likes to hang out with celebrities. I don't like Embiid. I do not like Joel Embiid. I'm not sold on him.
I do like Joel Embiid, but he's very inconsistent. We've seen the great Joel Embiid.
I've seen the airplane where he was trying to mimic Shaq, but you know what I didn't see? When Shaq was on the basketball court, I want you guys to remember what he did to Arvydas Sabonis. When he would hit him with his shoulder, he would dunk on him, and he would take him and say, "You're going back to whatever country you came from. You're done. You're done. You might have been the best player in Europe. I'm destroying you."
Of course.
I want Embiid. Granted, Embiid is 70 pounds lighter than Shaq, but I want that ferocity. I want that. I'm better than you. I'm gonna prove it. I don't want the deer in headlights when he's on the biggest stage and he's like, "What am I doing?
What's going on?"
I don't like that.
I think when you're practically 7 feet tall, and you have to do damage. You have to make your mark. You have to play aggressive. Like, you're the biggest guy on the court, especially for your team. Why are you not playing aggressive, right? No Simmons, no Embiid. The 76ers are going down.
I mean, there's so much Harris and Horford. I mean, what do you expect from Horford at this?
I really like Horford. Horford is a fantastic role player. He plays his role very well, very consistent. But Harris can't. As much as I don't like Embiid, I can't reiterate that enough. Horford is not going to be
rookie.
Horford is not going to be able to fill those shoes.
No, of course not.
And Simmons being out.
Just Milton. I mean, that's a good point guard.
I mean, Harris. They're not beating Boston.
The question should be
how many games?
Boston in 5.
1 game.
Boston in 6.
6.
Harris is going to get hot, and the 76ers have a lot of talent enough to win 2 games. The Celtics are good on the road though, and the 76ers are terrible on the road. That's why I'm giving them 2. They're going to win at home.
But it's in the bubble, so in this case, there's no home and away.
I give them 1, bro.
That is a very valid point. That totally... For a second, I thought we were actually living in reality.
Yeah, so this is legitimate, like playing in a park. You know what I mean? There is no advantage of some sort. I'll say Boston in 5.
If anything, that ties into what I'm talking about, though. Yeah. Boston in 6, because there is no home court.
I think pure talent.
Whoever wins this is a real group of men, bro. You don't have home court advantage. You're playing. I mean, people are watching virtually. A lot of people, you're not going to hear any noise. They're playing recorded noise over the game. So you don't know if they're cheering for you or they're cheering for the opposite team. So whoever wins this is definitely going to take the title as real men playing without the home court advantage, without your fans, which some of these stadiums are so loud. You hear refs making bad calls. I feel this is whoever wins this championship is definitely hands down bro. You guys are real men without any crowds. Almost back to when you played in high school. Only a very small group of people watching.
Okay. And that's very fair commentary from you. Gentlemen, the very last one. The 5th-seeded Pacers versus the 4th-seeded Heat. I'm going to go ahead and start this. Heat in 7. This is going to be a very tough series. Jimmy Butler, do not sleep on Jimmy Butler. Do not sleep on Jimmy Butler. He is this. I would say he is the poor man's Kawhi Leonard, but that's a great, fantastic compliment. And guess what, Kawhi? He actually plays 82 games if he's actually healthy. Unlike Kawhi Leonard, whose heart and inability to turn off the robotic mode. Kawhi, man, we need more. We need passion from you. And I'm not talking about passion from Joel Embiid. Again, Joel Embiid, too much passion, not enough. When it counts, Kawhi Leonard, you play your 82 games. So if you do not win this year, you make a pact. You play 82 games because I know you're healthy. You're a robot. You don't get injured. You don't fear pain. You don't feel anything. You hit Game 7 winners and walk off like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You play 82 if you don't win this year. He showed a little
emotion on that one.
He did. He laughed. 2014. In 2014, when he won his first Finals MVP, I think I saw a tear. And Tim Duncan quickly, him and Greg Popovich, being the robots that they were, they quickly covered that up. The San Antonio Spurs logo.
That one tear?
Yeah, that one tear.
So I'm going to bring a little light to this, shine a little light on the rivalry. TJ Warren.
Playing out of his mind. Him and Jimmy Butler, man.
They have a rivalry going. I feel this is a series to watch. I feel like it is going to go 7 games, but I think my prediction is Miami in 6. Only because Jimmy Butler made this comment, bro. He said that TJ Warren is not on his level. I love to see raw, emotional Butler, bro. Raw, emotional Butler because he's borderline unstoppable.
He's always there. He fights the good fight. He keeps coming at you. You hit Jimmy Butler, he hits you back.
Yes.
But he initiates.
He even saw that at the last game that they played. He said they were messing a little bit with one of the, what was it, the center or the forward? He's like, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. Mm-hmm. So that I feel like Miami has this little tight-knit kind of brotherhood.
Hold on. Very good point, but Tyler Hero, you got to worry about all those young cats.
Oh, of course. That's why I feel like they play like a team. That Hero, Butler.
Gebo, what's the power forward's name?
Adebayo, the big man, like
none. Can't sleep on none.
Miami's my favorite team.
Can't sleep on none either.
I feel this is the series that's.
I don't know if they'll be
the first round to watch.
To answer the question of who's going to win the series, I say Miami in 6.
Let's not forget the best player on the Pacers, the Victor Oladipo.
No.
Not recently.
Either.
You're gonna just give it to TJ Warren?
Recently.
Okay.
Overall,
Oladipo left Russell Westbrook's shadow and immediately blossomed into an all-star.
Oh yeah.
And this is Russell Westbrook. This is a knock on your game. You're finally learning how to play team basketball because James Harden's better talent than you, but.
Hey, I have a crazy
one player will do it. It's not enough, but all the players, my point that I was getting to, all the superstars that left Russell Westbrook, I'm going to say all-stars. All the all-stars that left Russell Westbrook, they ended up blossoming and having fruitful careers since then.
Oh, of course. Crazy question. Just thinking, because we love to just throw stuff out there, right? Do you think if OKC would have paid Harden, Kevin Durant would have stayed, and Russell Westbrook, do you think how good would they be now?
I think they wouldn't be able to keep all of them. Russell Westbrook's too ball dominant. Kevin Durant is too good not to be ball dominant. And James Harden likes to just get paid. James Harden wants the checks.
Well, he likes to go to strip clubs.
He likes to go to the strip. But a lot of these guys in the NBA like to go to strip clubs.
Yeah, Lou Williams chicken wings, So
hey, winner,
I don't know.
It's
just a crazy idea. A lot of us were rooting for OKC. When all 3 of them were there, so kind of like
we did.
It's kind of a what if.
Hey,
it was a crazy what if.
I had a lot more hair back then, brother. I had a lot more hair, believe it or not.
Oh, I was a couple of years younger too.
2012, man. I was watching that series overseas. Gentlemen, fantastic job. Thank you for the commentary. Gebo, I'd like to, at this point, hear your take on the NHL.
So NHL is back, but prior to the current playoffs, we're a little bit late on the official playoffs. Couple games that have went by. Couple games that have happened prior to that.
There's still one game happening right now, overtime.
That's correct. And then what's going on? We had an amazing round robin tournament, which led to the current seedings that we have now.
Which never happened before.
That's correct. Number 1 seed Vegas in the West. They're going to play Chicago. They have played. How
do you feel about the Blackhawks?
I think they got a great 2 great rookies.
Okay.
Right, Kubalik and Tuck.
Well, and they're very scrappy. They find a way to win games, bro. They never count out Chicago.
Yeah, but today they came up short, man. They lost in overtime. I really thought they would get today's game.
Yes.
Because they needed to, man. It's going to be like a 2-0. Now it is, unfortunately, for them. But I feel like Vegas is just too
talented.
Overall, they're just better. You know what the funny thing is, though? You know who's Vegas' starting goalie?
Oh, yeah. So throw it out there.
Laner. He's the backup for Chicago. Earlier in the season, they traded backups for each other. He took the job from Marc-Andre Fleury.
Hey man, he's definitely gonna know. He's gonna know the Blackhawks schemes, though.
Yes, I feel like that was my advantage. I gave the advantage to Vegas. Now watching those 2 playoff games, right, bro? I mean, Vegas is the only team right now, as of right now, whatever time it is currently, they're the only teams that are up on these playoffs 2-0. Now. I watch these games, guys. Vegas is no one to mess with, bro.
No.
They bully people. They're very strong. They're very big. They're well organized. They play great hockey, bro. I feel like they're sitting there, passing the ball around, taking a shot, getting a rebound, passing it around, getting another shot off. And then when it came to the defense and the hitting, like, they're no one to be messed with.
No, they got Reeves, man. That guy's like
a beast
all around. Like, and do you know what the one of the better statistics for the Vegas Golden Knights is their third period performances. Been amazing. They scored like 10 goals just in the third periods alone.
Gentlemen, predictions.
At this rate, look, right now it's 2-0 Vegas. I say Vegas in 5.
Oh, you're gonna give Blackhawks a game?
Yeah, from today's performance, yeah, they'll get a game. Yes. Hey, don't be surprised if 6 too.
Okay.
So I had Vegas in 6. We've talked about this already, but I think because the way that the series is going, I definitely think Vegas in 5 as well. I agree with you on that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gentlemen, thank you for that. All right, we're gonna transition to the Avalanche and the Coyotes.
Whew. When you get outshot like that, I mean, how do you expect to win games? Look, Darcy Kemper's an amazing goalie.
37 saves, by the way.
Yeah, bro, he played like
37 saves.
37 saves. Wait till you hear about this particular number we're going to tell you in a minute as far as saves. You think that's a lot?
A lot of NHL records.
What a start, man. Bro. Honestly. By the way, there is nothing like the NHL playoffs. I don't care what anyone says. With all due respect to NBA, and I love basketball and I love NBA, NHL playoffs are a different story.
What's another one that I have for? I mean, we're excited.
Colorado's too much, man. For to answer your question,
you don't accidentally become the second seed.
Give a good point, bro. So on the game 1, Coyotes only shot 14 shots, bro.
Yeah.
Avalanche, Colorado got 40 shots.
You would think they would do better at that performance against Nashville, though.
I mean, you know what I mean? You would think, but Nashville is one of those teams.
No, Nashville, you never know. Yeah, like, especially like at the last, 22 seconds left, they made a goal to tie it up. They didn't lose in overtime to Arizona.
I feel like you can't count any of these NHL games. The talent is, I feel like, it's very spread out at this moment. But if we're talking about playoffs in these game 1s, I think just Avalanche is too much for the Coyotes. They held as much as they could.
Look, Arizona's going to get their thing together. I think like with Taylor Hall and those guys, they're going to get it together. Hey, don't be surprised if they win the next game. Don't be surprised. I'm not surprised. Like, it might be an overtime 2-1 win or anything or something like that. Kemper's a really good goalie, man. They need to put some goals. That guy will stand on his head for that team.
Of course.
Avalanche in 5 though.
Hey, you know
with that said, Avalanche in 5.
I think I have Colorado in 6. Only I feel like they might get 2. I feel like the Coyotes might get 2 out of them. Only
Coyotes got to turn it around, man. They're better than this. They're actually really good.
This is gonna sound very, very common sense. But so far, it seems like the goalies are the X factors.
I think for these
it's like pitching in baseball in the postseason.
I mean, like I said, it's a very, very common sense take, but it definitely seems like the goalies are the X factor.
Absolutely, even when the game is faster nowadays, you still need the goalies to step up.
And that's universal. Yeah. Football, basketball, baseball, everything is quicker now. Hockey too.
And even with hockey, there's already been like 2 goalie changes. Hey, but you don't have a secure job. You don't perform if you're a goalie. Hey, man, it's not like back in the day where like they'll ride with you. They'll switch you real quick.
Yeah.
Like Mrazek with Carolina.
They get him in and out.
And then Bishop started today for Dallas.
So just a quick stat before we move on to our stat. What is your prediction, Gibble?
I said it. I said Colorado in 5.
Colorado in 5. Okay, I have Colorado in 6. By the way, the Avalanche scored 3 goals in a minute and 23 seconds, by the way. So Kemper held out as much as he could game 1. Then they squeezed 3 goals in a minute, 23 seconds. That was pretty damn close, too.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for that.
Too talented. Way too talented. Stacked team.
We're going to move on to Dallas and Calgary.
Dallas and Calgary. By the way, guys, this is the first time they've actually met in the playoff series ever. That series I see Calgary.
I think they're still playing, by the way, in overtime. Yeah. We'll get you guys on the stats on that, but I think they're still playing right now. So, what is your prediction, Gillo?
I say Calgary in. I really see Calgary overpowering Dallas. Again, with Gaudreau and those guys. 5 games.
No,
Calgary in 5.
2 games ago, would you
No, I thought this would have went to 7. Because they're the 6th seed. But I feel like they're more talented. Only problem I see with Calgary is their goaltending. I don't trust Talbot.
I think Calgary has the makings of an upset. I feel Calgary's going to take in 6. Dallas might get 2, bro. But
Dallas they know how to bounce back. Especially the last game, they scored within 30 seconds apart. With the Ben second goal, unfortunately, Dubé's 2 goals, and then the third period goal, just Dallas couldn't come back from that. But I see them winning a game. I just think the young guys for Calgary are just gonna take it, right?
I feel like because they're young, they're like a little bit more hungry.
The game is fast nowadays.
They're playing a little bit more. I saw a funny stat, but over the last kind of 5 years, some of these youngsters have proved a lot of the predictions wrong, and the younger team has prevailed in this more fast-paced hockey.
But it's not a guarantee the veteran team is going to win.
Yeah.
Look at, we can even go back to the Spurs playing the Thunder, and when the Thunder knocked them out in 2012. Similar thing. Might be a different sport, but you very, very easily see it, especially in a sport like hockey where there's a lot of passion. And there's a lot of physicality. It actually sometimes does help to be younger. You can take those bruises. You can get your face put up against the glass. Your goalie can take more beatings, more high stakes to the face.
You might be able to play a little bit more overtime since a lot of these games are going into overtime. Fifth overtime. We're going to get to that one. I'm so excited.
All right, let's just get to that game right now.
Okay.
5 overtimes.
We're not going to talk about the Blues and the Canucks.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, I want to talk about the 4th and 5th seed, guys.
So the 4th and 5th seed. Now, we're on opposite ends of the corner. Gevo, who's your...
I still see Dallas...
So you mean St. Louis?
No, I see St. Louis pulling it out.
Okay.
It's just, they're Stanley Cup champions.
Well, defending champions.
This is a problem. They have the opposite problem of Vegas. They can't score in the 3rd period. Did you see the 3rd period last night?
No. So I saw game 1.
They got outscored 3-0.
Yes.
The Horvat goal.
Horvat juking.
Did you see that juke?
That was amazing. Horvat. Well, this was a crazy move. I feel like
he reached, man. He reached for it.
He had his puck. He just beat like a bunch of guys. He's going 1-on-1 against one guy. Pulls his puck in the stick left. The guy reaches, pulls it right, skates past him, and shoots on the goalie. That was freaking amazing.
The nail on the coffin was they were like toying with him on the last power play, the Pietrangelo call, and then they're basically playing like keep away, and then boom, just like a one-timer, ended up being 5-2. I see St. Louis bouncing back though. I see St. Louis coming back and winning this in 6. In 6. Yeah, Stanley Cup champions, man.
I say this is the making of an upset. Bro, Vancouver, if they eliminate the Blues, they're taking out the champs. This team is young. They have about 5, 6, 7 guys under 25. These guys are fast. I saw them blow past the Blues more than a handful of times. They were getting on their skates and they were making. There's like Tyreek Hill burning a cornerback on that ice.
Expect St. Louis to be way more physical the next game. Ryan O'Reilly.
Hey, but Markstrom wasn't bad. 29 saves.
Markstrom was great. Had a couple great saves, but look, Billington is a Stanley Cup champion. He was a rookie and won the Stanley Cup.
Well, they have 20 of the 23 players returning, so I mean they practically have the whole team returning. So I mean you would hope that they would get a little farther than the round one, right?
Yeah, but
I'm going.
I see them bouncing back, and I see them winning in 6.
I say Vancouver in 6.
Okay, all right.
We're keeping track.
Absolutely, I'm keeping these guys honest.
So moving on to the East.
Philly and Montreal, 1st and 8th.
One word for Montreal: Carey Price. That team starts and ends with Carey Price.
He's a killer.
He's amazing. They upset the Pittsburgh Penguins, right? With that stacked Pittsburgh Penguins team.
You can never count them out. I mean, it's one of those teams that's always been good ever since Mario Lemieux.
Yeah, I mean, then with the transition to the Crosby era with Malkin, they got a couple Stanley Cups. Marvin, one of them shouldn't have been.
Are you sold on Philly?
I'm sold on Philly. I think that.
How many games?
I'm sold on. I say Philly in 5.
Okay.
Montreal has a lot of momentum, so definitely see Gavel's point of view. I just think Philly's too talented.
Yeah, even yesterday's game, they couldn't really close. There was a lot of close calls at the end of last game. Montreal could have easily had a 2-2 game. Yeah. And then who knows what happens in overtime.
No,
right? So if you're Philly, be afraid. Be very afraid. Do I think they're going to pull it out? Yeah. But it's going to be really tough first round series for the Flyers.
This is why I love the playoffs. You can never take any team lightly.
Absolutely.
No, of course not.
I just think overall, talented wise, just Philly keeps going to keep throwing these lineups, these walls at you, and I think it is going to overwhelm Montreal after a while.
Hey, the momentum can swing at a dime.
Oh yeah. Montreal had a lot of momentum going into game 1.
I mean they just upset Pittsburgh, right? You were too
coming up on a high,
boys. Tampa, Columbus.
What a way to start off the Stanley Cup playoffs. What a way. That was the first game.
I feel this was.
But it's like we were watching the game, and then it's like, what do you mean?
5 overtimes.
5 overtimes. 2 NHL records set in that game. Hit me with one of them, man.
So I'm gonna give you the first one. Korpisalo with. So you thought 30-something saves was big. He broke the NHL record with 85 saves. 85 saves, guys.
He also had 5 overtimes.
Yes, 5 overtimes. These poor guys played 8 periods of hockey. I mean, it wasn't a surprise. They were a little sluggish game 2. They gave it their all game 1. What was another NHL record? Gilbert, want to throw that one out there?
Seth Jones led the
minutes.
Actual number.
Minutes. 65 minutes, 6 seconds. That's an NHL record about any. I mean, that's a NHL record.
That's a full game.
Dude, that's an iron.
That's a 5 minutes.
That's an
full game.
That's an
5 seconds after full game.
5 minutes after a full game.
Dude, that's an Iron Man if I've ever seen one. All right, we're
going to super exciting game 1. Yeah. Game 2 went to Columbus. Gav, what's your prediction?
My prediction is Columbus. Why? Number 1 and obvious, Korpisalo.
Yes, Korpisalo.
This guy is like the playoff MVP so far. Number 2, no Stamkos for Tampa. That's huge. You can't, you're not gonna. How far are you gonna go? What a disaster matchup for Tampa to play Columbus.
Well, I mean, you've seen these games have been close. These games are going to be close. It's not going to be.
They are going to be close, but I feel like it's going to be edged out for Columbus.
I have
Columbus doesn't even have the star power that they had last year, but look at them.
Well, Tampa Bay, I feel, is a different team than last year. They got eliminated last year. They're not playing the same style that they've been. They've been a little bit kind of like, I'm going to compare Tampa to a hot girl, not knowing that she's hot. And the reason I say that is with Tampa's confidence, when they play with confidence, bro, they made that game 1 look easy up until overtime, right? Mm-hmm. When it got to overtime, it was back and forth. One of the most exciting overtime games that we've seen. Now, I say the confidence lacking. Obviously, they were a little tired for game 2. I think they want revenge. They got eliminated earlier than they supposed to. Had one of the best records in the NHL during the regular season. I say Tampa in 7. It's not going to be an easy series, but I say Tampa in 7. Have a little bit of love for Tampa. I was there in playoffs in Florida when they were there last time.
All right, guys. Thank you for that. Washington, New York.
Ooh, you would think Washington. Watch out. I'm saying New York. New York in 6. Why? Because the grind of the Barzal goaltending, I'm not too crazy about.
Okay.
With Varlamov, but they just came back from a 2-goal deficit the last game against Washington. Unless Washington gets their heads together. Remember, they're Stanley Cup champions
they still have O'Shea.
They got that playoff experience.
They
got Ovechkin and those boys. I don't trust Holtby anymore.
Do you think? No, this is a crazy question. Do you think that hit from Lee kind of got the Islanders in it? Or what do you think that's part?
And like they gave up a goal. They gave up a late goal, right? Which rallied the Islanders.
Yes.
But the way the Islanders play is kind of scary, man.
It is.
Like they just like they're never gonna be kind of out of it, and they always beat the good teams.
Yes. But do you think I feel like the Capitals have a little bit of that?
Yeah.
I think Washington has a little bit of that playoff experience, a little bit more of that veteran experience.
They can lean back on it. Even if they're down, they know they're not out of the fight.
Yes. I say Washington in 6.
Okay, Gabba, what do you say?
New York in 6.
New York in 6, okay.
Guys, Boston and Carolina.
Probably the best matchup in the East.
So I'm
going with Carolina.
Okay.
I'm going with Carolina, but in 7.
Okay.
They tied it up today, the series. So
yeah, I feel a lot of the series were tied up today, except the Vegas one. Mm-hmm. I feel like game 1 was taken by one team, game 2 was taken by the other team.
That could have easily went to Chicago today too. They just hit back crossbar in overtime.
Now, do you think that the Hurricanes going to have a chip on their shoulder with that missed call by the Kings goalie? So there was a shot taken. The rebound was popping up. The goalie put his puck on it, put his glove on it. Then at one moment kind of like got mixed up with the scuffle. His glove was pushed away. The puck came loose. Now a lot of commentators, a lot of guys in the league thought that it should have been a dead puck at that moment. Do you think that was a crucial call for that game?
Yeah, and it ended up costing Rod Brindamore money. Yes. Right, he got fined. But bottom line is this: Carolina bounced back. They tied the series. And they're moving on to game 3. So I see that going a full 7 games. And I see them getting the best of Tuukka Rask, right?
Do you think they're going to be Boston, or do you think they're still going to be Boston?
Do I think what?
Do you think they're going to be Boston?
Yeah, I said they're going to win in 7.
6. Okay, 7.
Yeah.
So Carolina in 7.
Yeah, I say Carolina in 7.
Okay. That's a watch for sure.
Yeah. I say Boston in 6. Even though we've been watching some of these games, it's too close to call some of these games.
Pasternak's hurt.
Absolutely.
Playoffs,
Pasternak is hurt.
So
NHL guys have not let down on these playoffs.
No, they don't. They play every game. All right, guys.
What's an interesting point? The NHL has stayed 0 cases of corona during the bubbles.
It's because they also have the masks. they have the face shields.
I think the helmet makes a difference.
I mean, you know what? I honestly do. I don't know enough about this virus, and to be completely honest, most people don't. But I will say this: college football is dead, and that really upset me.
That was very unfortunate.
Think about how much revenue these universities are losing, but to be honest, pay your players. Stipend. Give them something. Stipend.
Well, let them have sponsorships, definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to give it to 1. I'm still sour about this. You guys saw me with my USC jersey last time. Big SC fan, bro. We're talking about the BCS. USC versus Texas. One of the best BCS by far. The last 15 years, you would say. Lofa Tatupu, starting linebacker for the USC. His family was struggling financially. The guy had to go to the NFL early. Now, if this poor guy and family would have got maybe a stipend, maybe some something, not scholarships, already got their scholarships, but some kind of endorsement, right? If these guys were allowed to get some kind of endorsement, help out their families. I mean, I feel if Lofo Tatupu was in that game, bro, it would not have gone the way it did.
Okay.
You're talking about starting linebacker for your defense, being a defensive guy, being a football guy. Your middle linebacker, your strong linebacker, your best linebacker on your team is a captain. Losing the captain of the defense, not only did you lose a leader in that game, you lost your best defensive on that team.
Absolutely.
So Vince Young got to run amok, make himself look super good in that team, and that Texas won. Yeah, I'm still sour about that, but I mean, if some of these players' families could get some scholarships or some endorsements, I think it can make a big difference. You're onto
something, but I'm talking about a stipend for the players, and specifically only for the players.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, I don't know. I feel like it would actually incentivize them to get their degrees. They would come into the league at an older age in all major sports.
Well, I think they would play longer in college as well.
They would play longer and they'd get their degrees. Now, I'm not saying the American educational system is flawless, but having a 4-year degree, heaven forbid you get injured, you can actually lean on it. You can lean on that degree. It opens doors. It opens avenues. Now, I'm preaching.
Now, what about sponsorships, though?
Sponsorships, absolutely. I'm not against the idea of sponsorships. I'm just saying, you know how the NBA now has the G League, and a lot of players are opting to go to the G League and then make that transition and avoid college altogether. To keep the college market open, at a certain point, when you have those players that are bringing ad revenue, they're bringing in merchandise sales, which the players currently aren't getting anything from in college. At a certain point, you have to get real. You have to sit down and be like, we got to give them something.
Well, also the shoe companies, I mean, would give them a little something.
You got to give them something. I mean, Nike, LeBron James at 18, this is before the one and done rule. He signed a ridiculous contract with Nike. If I'm not mistaken, $100 million plus as an 18-year-old kid. Phenomenal insane amount of money for us common folk, and he hasn't disappointed ever since, though.
Wearing the LeBrons as we speak, by the way.
No, absolutely, and that's good. All right, guys, I do want to talk about the NFL. Talk to me about the picks.
Well, major news in NFL today is Travis Kelce re-signed with the Chiefs. Also, George Kittle re-signed with the 49ers. Two of the tight ends that were in the Super Bowl together.
This is important.
They had to, man. Those are like in their prime.
The two best tight ends in the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Blocking, protecting your quarterback.
Of course.
Getting a little chip off the shoulder.
I feel like Kittle has an edge, though. No.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think both of them, they play very similar. I think Kelce has that size advantage, kind of give you a little bit more off that block, off that line. But Kittle has that speed, bro. I feel like he's the best route running tight end right now.
Yeah.
It's size versus explosion.
Yes, size versus explosion and speed. But Kelce is kind of that safety blanket. Both of these guys are the safety blanket. Garoppolo's in trouble. Kittle, right? Mahomes is in trouble. Kelce. So I think these are the two best tight ends in the game. Arguably, like without a doubt, stat-wise, size-wise, play-wise, defending champions-wise, as well as number 2, right? They came up a little short.
Absolutely.
Now, I think they had to re-sign these guys. It was without a question. And it's going to keep it interesting for these two teams to keep it up.
And I feel like they're both going to dominate. Hey, don't be surprised if they meet in the Super Bowl again next year.
Well, and don't be surprised if they're going to be the number 1, number 2 in stats for fantasy, by the way, as well. Keep an eye out.
Fantasy
guys.
Man, NFL starts on my birthday.
Fantastic. Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you again for your commentary and for all the effort you guys put in today. I really appreciate it. I know it was a little bit hot today. Gav, always a pleasure. Marvin, always a pleasure. And for the fans at home, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more or less. As always, guys, gentlemen, stay tuned for more or less.